Harp, you were at Citi Field on Sunday, so I'm going to ask you the same question you asked Buck Showalter. How different did this one feel out in Queens?
Yeah, sometimes you got to stick with it with Buck, but I finally got a pretty good answer. He said every inning felt like Edwin Diaz closing it out in terms of the noise and the crowd. That's crazy how loud it was. You could just feel the joy. I think it's one of the great days in Citi Field history, besides the 2015 October run, because it was the Braves, for one thing, the team that's haunted them, and it's deGrom. He's been gone for a year. So the noise and the energy was all there right from the start to the finish. It was just, what a day, man. What a day.
It was a ridiculous vibe. It brought back flashbacks to that Met National Series back in 2015, where it felt like the Mets really made that monstrous statement. They took off. They ended up winning the division going away. This team is going to win the division going away, taking 4 out of 5 from the Atlanta Braves. And a Harp's point, for Jacob deGrom to get back on a mound at Citi Field, first time in basically over a year, and he's throwing 5 perfect innings against the Atlanta Braves. It actually got to a point where you were nervous, believe it or not, if you're a Met fan, thinking about the bigger picture, saying, man, 7th inning if he's still perfect, 8th inning if he's still perfect. What do you do?
They weren't letting him go past.
No, and they couldn't. Listen, you got to think about the bigger picture if you're the New York Mets. But to have that script, to go and take 4 out of 5, couldn't have had a better weekend.
He was dominant, no doubt about it. It was amazing. We heard Steve Gelbs ask about the 18 sliders that they had no chance
outrageous.
on.
And that slider's a little different now than it used to be. He's got that downward bite. Now these guys had no.
It's 95 miles an hour, for goodness sakes.
He was dominating. It was like, it was like a little leaguer, the 12-year-old who's lying on the birth certificate. That's right. All right, JJ, we just talked about how dominant he was. So from what you've seen out of deGrom in 2 starts, how scary now is this Met team in a playoff series in October?
Eamon, I feel like I have said this multiple times. This is Kurt Schilling and Randy Johnson, if they're right. Because of what these guys can do at the top of the rotation, Scherzer's the ultimate bulldog. But now that X factor of deGrom has come back, and he looks like Jacob deGrom, you have those 2 guys with Edwin Diaz, who, oh, by the way, has been the best closer in all of baseball. Who in their right mind thought they'd be saying in early August that Edwin Diaz is the best closer in all baseball? You combine that 1-2 punch, back into the bullpen, a lineup that's not striking out. Mets are as good as anybody, Harp.
Yeah, and they exposed the Braves here. The Braves have so much swing and miss in that lineup. Against this pitching staff, it's a bad matchup for the Braves. And, I really think the Braves had to walk out of here going, wow, what the heck just happened? Scherzer, and, they lose, 2 out of the first 3, and then you got Scherzer and deGrom coming at you, 12 2/3 with, I think, 23 strikeouts. The Braves aren't beating them. There's no doubt about that. The matchup with the Dodgers is a different story because that lineup can hit good pitching, but that would be some NLCS if it comes to that.